I admit I'm a little disappointed. He's not the big, buff, beefy werewolf dom top of my dreams, so there's that. Aside from that, there's going to be spoilers in this video because this is going to be my first impressions of the brand new normal tier, which is going to lead into the Savage in about a week from now. So my initial first impression is, why is the final boss, which is going to be like the wolf, not like big, dom, muscular? I admit I'm a little disappointed in that. I just wanted a little bit of fan service that way, just a crumb. My impressions of the story is that it is pretty well written. There were multiple moments in it that I really did enjoy. Got a bit of backstory on some more characters, made them a bit more likable for sure. Honeybee Lovely is obviously iconic. There was a part where she brought out her simps to basically like influence the outcome of something, and that scene actually made me laugh. That was actually freaking great. Like, actually great, like no bullshit. That was amazing. So the first fight, we're going against Greninja, the dancing frog dude. I'm gonna be honest, this was actually a lot more interesting mechanically than I expected. I suppose you could say that about all these normal raids, that these definitely feel a cut above what we've had in the past for normal raids, but this one was actually like really interactive. The arena was beautiful. Everything was very engaging actually, and that's probably what I look for the most whenever I'm doing something like this, is that it's engaging. There was a lot of stuff going on and it was actually really fun. I really hope though in the Savage mode that there's more like instances of dancing, because like they do have you do things like you chase the spotlight, you need to go from one tile to the next because it's kind of like a, what do you call it, like a checkerboard where you try and go from one color to the next color, and that's pretty fair, but I think that it would be cool if that in the Savage mode there was even more of the dancing elements, because I think that that was actually really well made. Second fight, first impressions, is that it kind of took me by surprise, as well as the rest of my group initially, because we're like, okay, we're just gonna dodge this area, it's gonna explode, okay, we're gonna go here, oh wait, they went over to our side, and then we all exploded. However, I think that it was okay. In my opinion, it is probably the weakest of the 4 fights, and that's not to say that I don't think it's well made before anyone says that. I think that it has its own particular aesthetic. I think that it's very neat. It was fine that way. I like the fact that the arena was changing, that it went into like a desert, and then you had like this calm river area. I like the usage of the like arena and setup, which is something that I can compliment the first 3 fights, but I can't compliment the 4th fight, but we'll talk about that later. Because the 4th fight's arena, I kind of expected a million times more mechanics to do with the multiple platforms that they clearly have in the background. That was actually a pretty big disappointment, and I'm not trying to say bad things about the devs. I love our devs, but what a disappointment that was, if I'm honest, in 4. But for 2, I like how she has like lightning effects, and then if you're in the river, obviously you're wet, and that's going to be bad. And then I like how if there's like a fire effect, you go in the river. So like, I thought of the 4 fights, it was probably the weakest, but I still liked those elements of it a lot. I think aside from that, it was pretty straightforward, which is probably why it's the last in terms of my thoughts on it. Third fight, masterclass. No, seriously, let me please pay attention, any dev that's listening. This is exactly what I friggin' want from your arenas. This is amazing. The arena changing and him jumping from one building to the next to knocking down the floor of it. Brilliant. I want more of this in the content. It was something I didn't expect. It was friggin' brilliant. I loved this. I loved it. I think that it was amazing. My honest impressions is this is the best fight of the 4 that I've seen. The 3rd fight is just great, and the boss is ugly as hell. Like, there's nothing hot about him. Like, I'm not wanting him to be a dom werewolf daddy to me or anything. Like, ugly as shit. But the fight was amazing. The vines creeping on the buildings and everything, him hanging off the side of the buildings, him jumping to the middle, the lariats, the zipping from one side of the arena to the next. Holy shit, this is so cool. Like, I cannot compliment that enough. That is not bullshit. Like, this is friggin' great. Like, this is what I want to see more of in terms of, like, the arena and, like, the changing and the knocking down the platforms and building to building and to building. Like, it was like Spider-Man, Venom, Hulk kind of thing. It was so really actually amazing. And I don't say that lightly. This was actually truly a delight of a fight. This is actually the top fight that I have experienced so far. Obviously, we haven't seen the Savage versions, but this is so well crafted that I really hope we see more of this in the future. I cannot compliment this enough. This was absolute delight. Fourth fight, you've gotten inklings of it. First of all, the arena really disappointed me because it looked like the setup of something like Diamond Weapon, but even further because it looked like we had at least 5 platforms or something in the background, but we were just planted on the one, and I'm gonna be honest, I was actually really disappointed with that. I'm not trying to be a jerk again. So the things that I just complimented 3 about, we didn't see in 4, which is really unfortunate because, like, we had the Venom Hulk, like, swinging from side to side with vines and everything and just blowing up buildings and knocking down floors. That was so fucking cool. To all of a sudden now we're standing on a static platform. I'm gonna be honest. Major letdown, and I'm not trying to hate on the devs. You know I love the devs, but what a frigging huge letdown. That's not me trying to be mean. Really let down. I think maybe it's especially because it came in such sharp contrast to the third fight, like because it came right after that. I was like, oh, we're not gonna do diamond weapon zips on the platforms or Relsvigar back in one of the dungeons during Heaven's Ward, which was reworked, but again, we're talking about a raid at this point and a level 100 raid, so I don't think it's unrealistic to expect some level of platform gameplay. I'm gonna be honest, that really did let me down. Aside from the boss, could have been a lot more muscular. It's just like when I think like of werewolf, I think about big, muscular, beefy, dominant, sexy. Give me a little bit of fan service this way. I think that it was like a cool design, but and again, not trying to be mean here, it's just I kind of had a different thing in my head for the wolf boss, and everyone who's watched my channel for any period of time knows that that's the god honest truth, and so if I didn't say it like that, I'd probably be lying and you'd know it. Now there's elements of it that I find cool, like I like the speed of it, I like the animations, I like that he had like the sage neoliths, I like that there was like all the wolf theming. Okay, so he said things like, I like to play with my prey and stuff like that, and honest to God, if you made him a big, beefy, dominant werewolf with those lines, oh, you probably would have knocked me right out. I probably would have just died. I would have been stun locked. You could have done, oh, but I digress, but the voice lines were really good. They were like, prey. Ooh, I feel very called out right now. So I mean, there's still elements of it that I liked. Like the voice acting was top tier, and it's just like the prey and all that. Oh god, fuck. I just close my eyes and imagine a different model, and then be like, okay, well, I am okay just dying. I'll just lay down here on the ground. You just do whatever you. Oh my god. But the voice lines were good. But like in terms of the mechanics, they were interesting. I'm gonna be honest. I think that they were like saying earlier on, and I could be mistaken, but I think that they were saying that they were looking at different tempo of the fight. And like I could feel like some elements of Barbariccia, an extreme fight that I compliment to this day endlessly. I like the tempo of Barbariccia Extreme. It was so good. Oh my god, it was so good. And so I saw elements of it, but it also didn't feel as much of it. And so I think combine that with the fact that the arena didn't let us go from side to side like a diamond weapon or a Relsvigar or something like that, it kind of fell short of my expectations. And again, not trying to be a jerk, not trying to say it meanly, so the fourth fight is kind of So if I had to do a tier list of the raids, the third one absolutely has to be top. It's amazing. The arena changing, everything about that fight is so friggin' good. I want more of this. This is exactly what I want. Then the first one, I think that was really good. Then, I guess the fourth, I think that it's only winning because it has wolves mentioned, and I mean, I love wolves. And then, like, the second one, it was okay, but I really kind of, I like the change of arena, but I think that that's carrying all the mechanics for me.